Okay, and I'm recording. My name is Andy Pendleton, as it says on the screen. I figured that the easiest way to do this assignment was to make a PowerPoint and share my screen through Zoom recording. So that's what I'm doing. I'm completing the last week and a half of my internship with Mortensen. I'm a field engineer, as I think most interns are when they first start out in commercial construction. I'm working alongside a field engineer, and together we're just kind of tackling the interior scope of a building. I'm going to tell you a little more about it. Progress slide. Perfect. So Eagle Mountain Data Center, that's where I'm working right now. It's located in Utah. If you know where Lehigh and Saratoga Springs are, it's about 25 minutes southwest of those two cities, across the lake, behind the mountains, out in the middle of nowhere. This is a big project. I'm not really supposed to share pictures of it, but this is a picture I found on Mortensen's website. I know that it's over $1 billion project. It's a very big project. There's many buildings that are being built on this campus. EAG 1 and 2, which are the buildings that are shown in the pictures, they just actually hit substantial completion as of yesterday. So they've been turned over in phases to the client. And it's pretty big deal on our campus. Everybody's pretty excited. We've been working on this building for about 2 years. I am working on building 3. That's where my internship is, which if you can see my mouse, this is building 1, building 2, and building 3 is right over here. It just looks exactly like this. And building 5 and 6, they just went vertical about a month ago. They've been doing all the underground work for quite some time, and just as of about a month ago, they started erecting steel, and it's going up very quickly. Very cool. So as I said, I'm on the interior scope CSA team. So architectural drawings is where I spend most of my days. But I've really just been able to connect with our trade partners for interior scope. So I'm dealing with all of our ceiling contractors, our tile contractors, framing, drywall, paint contractors, trying to think of more, epoxy flooring, all those contractors. And yeah, let's go to the next slide. So my experience with Mortensen so far, I don't know if you can, let's see if I can move this. Okay, perfect. So I first met Mortensen at the Fall Career Fair 2019. And I received a couple offers that year, and I decided to go with a different offer just to get a little bit of residential construction under my belt, and then move to commercial and see which one I like better. So a year and a half almost between the time that I got an offer and before I showed up on the job site. Winter 2021 was when I received the offer of what I received the offer for. And I requested Eagle Mountain because I knew they were working on the project out there. It's about an hour away from my home. And so the commute is a little bit rough, but it's great to be able to be working in a beautiful place like Eagle Mountain, and it's close to home. It really is a very family-oriented company. I didn't know much about them before I started, but I have been very, very impressed with what I've learned and the culture that they have. They have a really strong safety culture and a really strong family culture. The picture I've included at the bottom of the slide is their Lead Blue program. It's their program to try to train leaders up and try to help everybody be a better leader, help our company have a better culture. And they have 3 principles that just really impress me that go along with my morals, which is why it impressed me so much. But their 3 principles are: do the right thing, we before me, and inspire what's possible, which line up with a lot of my goals. And so I've been really impressed, and I really do hope to be able to stick around with Mortensen after I graduate. And I would recommend it to anyone. I'm scared to say I'd recommend it to anyone because I honestly would, but that means that more people will go there, and then I'll have more competition. Just kidding. I would recommend it to anyone. Very, very awesome company. I've really enjoyed my time here so far. My experience, what I do every morning is I arrive at about 6 and I get to go to my favorite part of my internship, which is bend and stretch every morning. This picture was taken this morning. I thought it was kind of funny. We were listening to Our House in the middle of our street and everybody was stretching and I thought it was pretty amusing. But every morning we get together. We're socially distanced now, but we just do about 3 minutes of various stretches just to help everybody get moving in the morning and prevent injuries. That's my favorite thing. And so after that, I go to some morning meetings. There's huddles for various areas of the building that I'm on. Just they meet to kind of talk about their day and talk about what they need. They're just 10-minute meetings. I go to about 4, sometimes 5 of those every morning. And then I go back to my desk and I work on usually submittals or lead things. So another thing that I do a lot of is all of our inspections. I've been put in charge of like drywall inspections, framing inspections, in-wall inspections, that kind of stuff. So I've gotten pretty familiar with the municipal inspector. We meet about 3 or 4 times a week just to do various inspections. So I do inspections. I do a lot of submittals. That's something that I've learned a lot about. I remember taking project management with Brother Sessions, and we basically went over everything like that entire semester. The things that I learned there are the things that I'm doing every day. So that class was a lot more beneficial than I realized at the time. But I do a lot of submittals for interior products. So like all of our framing, our drywall, screws, just everything. For procurement I've been going through, which has been actually really, I actually really like doing submittals. I'm looking through the product data that they submit or the shop drawings or the samples that they submit and comparing it to the specs, making sure that everything matches. I've included the bullet point that says backing champion. One of my responsibilities, and my mentor just said, if you don't do anything else, I don't care, but just make sure that before we close up our walls, make sure that backing is in place. Backing and blockouts before we put up tile. Make sure that for the toilet paper dispenser, make sure that it's blocked out and it's made the right size. Just make sure that backing is in the wall for where we hang this shelf. And so they call me the backing champion. That's just what they've told me to do. They said, be the backing champion, take care of backing. They've also assigned me lead stuff since our project is a lead project. Lead certifications. For every product that's used in my scope, I just make sure that it complies with all the lead certifications, that it has everything it needs so that we can be a lead project. What I've learned so far, this is as I said before, this is my first experience in commercial construction, but I've learned how to do submittals. I've gotten a lot better at looking through drawings. I've spent most of my time in the architectural drawings. I've learned how to navigate specs. I know in construction documents, I learned a lot about specs and the different categories. That helped a lot, actually. And I've learned how to read them. Before I'd get really bored, and I still get really bored just looking through them, but now I know what to look for, how to kind of navigate them. I've gotten a lot better at Bluebeam, which was one of my goals from the beginning, just to be able to understand the commands and how to navigate Bluebeam and how to just do simple things. And it made my life so much easier. I use it for hours every day, and it's become a pretty cool tool. I've had a really fun time, and I've enjoyed getting to know trade partners. I think that's a very valuable thing that I've learned, is that building those relationships really lets them know that you trust them, lets them know that you are not just someone who sits in the office all day, but you go out and walk the site with them, you help them with various tasks. But I've kind of learned how to strengthen those relationships and why it's important. Biggest thing I've learned is what I want out of a career, which has been really insightful. I know what I want out of a company, and I know what I want out of a career. I'm very impressed with the values of Mortensen, and this internship has been a huge blessing. It's a lot different than my last internship. My last internship was high stress, high demand. I was working 8 hours a week, and it just was not a very good environment. This has been a lot different. Granted, it's a big project, so the work is spread out between a lot of people, but being able to go home at night and not be stressed about job and not have nightmares about various things has been really nice. I know what I want out of a company. I know what I'm looking for. I'm looking for those values. I'm looking for great things. This Mortensen's awesome. They gave me PTO. They're giving me a really nice hourly rate. They've taken really good care of me. Give me anything that I need, and they're really great. So I've really enjoyed this internship. Really, it's been a blessing. Oh, I was going to tell you about this. I have these pictures up on the board. This is our dog, Spot. He's a robot dog, and he goes around and does laser scans of the building, which is really cool. We have a BIM model, and but the BIM model is set up so that it is actually like spot on with the coordinates of the building, so it's lined up perfectly. And then this laser scanner goes around, matches up with those coordinates, and it can tell when something is out of place. I went and did laser scanning with the ICC team, which is our BIM team. When we went out laser scanning, this laser scanner on top, just this little part right here, is like an $80,000 scanner. And then I don't know how much the dog costs, but this is how you control them with this little Xbox controller. But this laser scanner could tell, like, if the concrete slab about 150 yards away was up by a 16th of an inch, and it would record that. Or just like if this wall is out of plumb by a 16th of an inch that's 100 feet away. It's a crazy laser scanner. It's very cool. So this dog just walks around and takes the laser scanners. That's kind of a tag on note at the end of my presentation. It's kind of a funny place to end, but that's where I'm going to end. Thank you for your time today. Now I have to end it.